Good morning, everybody. I don't know, y'all might want to stand for this one. It's going to be fun. This song's called Every Little Cell. The song to the tune of Shortening Bread. The Unity Standard here. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is well.
So Ron, did you hear that? Every little cell in your body as well.
He doesn't look convinced for some reason.
Well, you know, it sink in.
Good we have to sing it again.
Just use it for all the songs.
That works. Is there anybody here for the first time? I see faces that I'm unfamiliar with.
We've been.
Okay, well,
Welcome back.
That's my wife and
She's
granddaughter.
shy.
Oh, grandchildren. They're my favorite people.
She's 13. She's too shy.
I am too.
Yeah, me too.
13, really?
Yeah, you keep telling myself that. Acting, 13 years, acting.
I'm about 6 then.
Some days.
Okay.
Well, welcome, and we will get her a red heart,
All right. I think.
and we'll explain that a little later what the red heart is all about. And with that, we will. Well, you know, Sundays don't happen by accident. We always start with our wonderful musicians. Michael. I was going to say Michael, but I didn't want to call him by the wrong name. And our guest speaker, Reverend Joanna Gabriel. Our board member of the week is Cindy. Our chaplain today is Marilyn. And if we get children, then they will go with Joyce. Our hospitality host, Mary Ellen, and Ann and Laura always jump in and help. And of course, we are all the spick and span angels because, you know, we have to have somebody clean up.
They have your own mess.
And then our person that does make sure we have all this wonderful stuff available for us to see, Mark Swing. And so now we will have some more music.
So Only Believe, I'm sure everybody knows this one too. Only believe, only believe, all things are possible. Only believe, only believe, only believe, all things are possible. Only believe, only believe, only believe, all things are possible. Only believe.
Red Heart welcome. If you are new today at Unity of Bremerton, we welcome you in the spirit of love. We want you to know no matter where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here. We know that the world is a better place when we are willing to share our hearts. We give you this heart as a symbol of the steadfast spirit that lives within each of us, and we ask you to carry this symbol as a member of the Red Heart Fellowship. Let it be a reminder that the love of God is always with you and to share your heart wherever you go. The Red Heart, as a symbol of fellowship in the world, can spread love one heart at a time. Let's start the movement here. And for those that are watching online for the first time or visiting for the first time, we ask that you watch several times to get a feel for how we do things. We have different speakers each week and get a little bit of diversity in your life. So for our Unity happenings, we have things in your bulletin, some announcements. Next week, our speaker will be Doug Beneke with Sally Spirit. And then on the 17th, Saturday the 17th, will be our craft fair and bazaar fundraiser. And if you have something you want to make for us, then you're surely welcome to do that. And then on the 18th will be George Lindemood with Sally and Jamie and special guest. And then Sunday the 18th, and that's just a little 2 weeks away, that's Thanksgiving potluck. And then on Thursdays is our Course in Miracles at 7 o'clock. And now for the board member of the week report.
Alrighty, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, first we want to thank Reverend Joanna for schlepping across the sound this morning. Apparently it's quite the ride. So thank you for making that extra effort. She called me earlier this morning. We're like, well, we may need a backup plan. So we're okay, but everything came together, so yay, thank you. Yes. It was very good. So we want to remind everyone we are live streaming, so please keep conversation down. It is a very sensitive microphone, and it'll pick up your conversations unless you want others to know, especially during the candle lighting and paper burning. We also want to remind everyone there's prayer request forms in the back of the chairs. You can fill those out, put them in the box up here or in the offertory bag as it comes around, and our chaplains will take care of that, and then they forward them on to Silent Unity, and you get that extra oomph. Unity of North Kitsap has a weekly meditation, Thursday, November 8th at 7 p.m., Peace and Prayer and Meditation. Join Linda Mooring in an experience of prayer and meditation focused on inner peace. Everyone is welcome. Meditations are held in the Fellowship Hall at Faith Episcopal in Polsbo. And as Nora said, our craft fair is fast approaching here on the 17th Saturday. We're going to have a brief meeting after service, during fellowship of those of you participating, so we can kind of get a game plan and start really solidifying our plans for that event. And as Nora said, if you have anything you'd like to contribute and make, that's great. We'll take donations in good condition for that event. So just see one of us or see me if you have something you'd like to contribute. We do have a couple of vendors outside that are going to be making a donation, have a table there. So I think we're gonna do good. We're excited.
And if nothing else, they can always show up to shop.
Exactly. Right? Yes, ma'am.
I was sharing with somebody yesterday about the craft fair, and they said, what are the hours? And I didn't know.
Well, we're going to fine tune that today too. So thank you for asking. Yes, we will fine tune the hours that will be posted. I mean, I have it on the Facebook as like 10 to 4, but we may abbreviate that. We may keep it that. We'll see what we're going to decide what we want to do there. Yes, James.
Where's it going to be at?
It's going to be right here. Yep, right here. So stay tuned. We'll keep you informed. All right, and as always, we've got the sign-up sheets on the table. There's a sign-up sheet for the Thanks for Giving event is out there, so please sign up. And then be sure to write how many people, including yourself, will be attending that. So we have an idea of how much food we need to have. But please sign up, and we'll have fun and enjoy a nice longer day together and some good food pre-Thanksgiving Day. So yay. Yeah, always good. So following up with, our congregational meeting, which went really well. We made some hard, good decisions. I met with the Masons Friday evening, and we talked a little bit. We looked at their space again. They've been clearing out storage area, and they've been doing a lot of stuff. They even have pictures on the walls now where they didn't before, which was neat. So I asked them to come here and see our space and what we're used to and what we're wanting to do. Which I thought that was a good idea, so thank you. Wanted them to see this beautiful thing and how important this is to us. They really liked it, so yay. And we talked about the chairs, and so, get an idea so that they knew where we were coming from with what we would want to do with that space. As most of you know, I sent out a survey through SurveyMonkey to the members with email addresses, and thank you to those who had difficulties opening it. I was able to send the questions directly to them to get feedback on your priorities as far as what you want at a new location, or what that location to do for you, or what you really didn't see as a high priority, which made talking to the Masons a lot easier. So, I'm still gathering all that information. There were some clear preferences: the piano, our stuff, place for fellowship. These were like the really kind of top three things. So it's like, okay, it was pretty clear from our conversation last week and from that survey that we really don't want to do church in a box. That just doesn't, it's not what most people want. So, okay, great. The board will work with that. We can do the best we can with those tools. So, so we went over, and within the last week or so, we've been formulating a list of questions. So that I went to the Masons with all the questions, all the big issues and concerns that we have. So we discussed all those at length, and they'll be meeting this coming Tuesday to discuss, amongst themselves, and then I should hear back from them Wednesday or Thursday. Once I hear from them, I can then share that information with you, and we will take the next logical step. So
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Someone said you're going to the Masons, are you going to the one downtown?
Bennett,
So I knew it was Manette,
Yeah.
but they said, why don't you go to the one downtown? Because they're also handicap accessible, which is important, and they have great parking. And they don't have something there.
yes, Ron,
I can answer that.
yes, he
Oh,
can.
okay, good.
There's already a church there.
Oh, see, it is a good place for a church.
Yeah.
I knew they were right.
Somebody scooped up on us.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you for asking.
Well, I just thought, that came up when I was looking, so.
Yeah.
I
So
was
you're-
thinking that too.
So you're not staying here and sharing the lease with anyone?
No, we can't.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't do that. So, we either chose to stay and fulfill the lease and stay here to the end of August, or take advantage of the opportunity to leave earlier because they have a tenant ready and willing and able to step in.
So we would be here till August?
No, we are going to be out of this space by the end of this year, by December 31st.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're working on it, but we still have a lot of things to address, and a lot of things to do, and a lot of things to figure out. But we will be in touch with each and every one of you. We are all a part of this decision, and the board is doing its best to make everybody as happy as we possibly can. So keep those prayers coming. All right, have a great day.
It's a baby river.
So now we're gonna light the Christ candle and say our mission statement and our invocation. And the Christ light represents the Christ light within each of us. Together? We are
welcoming communities supporting our mutual quest for spiritual truth. There is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotence.
Now it's time for handshakes and hugs, and remembering we're going to keep this brief because we do have fellowship afterwards.
I
I don't care what yes, a standing up the real thing. Yes, okay, Lois, is that Lois? You will go very gentle. Yes. You're feeling good? Good. I don't run over anyone.
They go where there's nothing. Yeah. Hi, kid.
No, I know, I'm so glad you made it. I looked around and I'm like, oh,
Take a look at the person next to you. God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. Name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. From every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, and honor the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love.
Today's daily word, grace. With joy and gratitude, I embrace all of God's good. The Gospel of Luke tells the story of a father who willingly divides his property between his two sons. After wasting his inheritance and then experiencing extreme poverty, the younger son returns to his father's home humbled. When the young man declares his unworthiness to be called a son, his father responds by giving him gifts and celebrating his homecoming. Surely this young man experienced grace. Like the prodigal son, I may feel unworthy. Feelings of unforgiveness, such as the older brother felt, may also block the flow of good in my life. As I recognize and release these thoughts and feelings, I open my entire being to God's grace. With joy and gratitude, I embrace all of God's good. From Luke 15, verse 31. Then the father said to him, Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. Now, being female in this body in this lifetime,
I always like to personalize things, and then I will go beyond gender. And I like to think about that as God saying to me, "Beloved, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours." With joy and gratitude, I embrace all of God's good, and God bless us.
Okay, I wrote this song. I used to live in Palmdale, California. My mother lived in Barstow. So coming back from her house, a lot of times I would get an idea in the middle of the desert there and driving along, and I would start singing something, and it would, if I kept repeating it, I could remember it by the time I got home. If I didn't, it'd be gone. So this is one of those songs. So hopefully you'll remember it, and maybe use it on your way to work or whatever. Like a sunbeam to the sun, I am one with God. Like a wave upon the ocean, I am one with God. I am one with God. I am one with God. Like a sunbeam to the sun, I am one with God. Like a wave upon the ocean, I am one with God. I am one with God. I am one with God. Like a sunbeam to the sun, I am one with God. Like a wave upon the ocean, I am one with God.
beautiful. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I can't tell you how glad I am to be here this morning. When I was waiting for the ferry in Coopville this morning, usually the ferry comes in, it gets in about, 7 o'clock, and we load up, and we usually leave somewhere around 7:15. And so at 7:18 this morning, there was no ferry in sight, and I'm thinking, well, okay, so I thought I'd look at the vessel watch. Are you familiar with the ferry website, the vessel watch? And so I told this to Cindy. I was looking at it, and here's Port Townsend, and here's Coopville, and there's like this dotted line that goes across that shows you the ferry route. And so I'm looking and I'm seeing that there's no ferry there. There was no ferry at the dock at Port Townsend, and there's no ferry at the dock at Coopville, and there's no ferry along the line there. And I'm thinking, And all of a sudden I happened to glance down and the ferry's down here. And I'm going, uh-oh, that can't be good. It was down here. And so it finally came in 7:30 or so. And I had called Cindy and I said, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if we're going to have a ferry. We are not, or whether once it gets here, if it's going to be willing to go back out again, if it's that bad. I don't know. The Port Townsend ferry, you never know. So, but we did go back out again, and they had all the cars parked way back so that they wouldn't get wet from the waves. And so when I'm going upstairs like this, trying to get up to go to the restroom, and I asked one of the workers there, I said, so I noticed that the ferry was kind of off the route. He goes, oh yes, it's the storm route. And I said, oh, the storm route. And he goes, yes. He goes, we can't go straight across the strait when it's this rough. He said, we have to kind of cut down like this and then come back up this way. And of course, it takes quite a bit longer, but that's how they do it, and that's how they get across. I said, okay, that's good to know. So it was an opportunity. I was saying to Cindy, it was an opportunity to surrender to the moment, which is what we're kind of talking about today, is surrendering to the moment, because there wasn't a thing I could do about it. I was committed to getting here because I thought if it wasn't going to go, I'd get out of line and I'd rush back down to Langley and we'd do Skype. But it was like, I really want to come, and if there's any way to come, I really want to come. So I'm just going to have to let go and know that it's going to work out. Do you ever have those moments? A lot. Yeah. And so this has a lot to do with the surrender piece. Surrender is not the easiest thing for we humans, is it? Because we've lived with the concept that surrender is weakness, right? That surrender is giving up. Waving the white flag. I give up. You can take me. And in truth, surrender is a very powerful stance. Because surrender is about saying, I get it. There's more going on here than what I'm able to control at all. Or the idea that I think that I'm in control. I have this little image at home on my computer that says, relax, no one's in control. And isn't it the truth? We like to think we've got control of things, and we don't have control. And thank God. Because as we've talked about before, we have a very small view, don't we? And when we surrender, in consciousness, when we surrender, what we're surrendering to is the all that is, that has all the pieces, has the vantage point of it all, that understands past, present, and future. And so to surrender to that energy, to that divine awareness, that divine understanding, that higher place, is pretty smart. It tends not to be the first thing we do, though, is it? I had another opportunity to really look at this when I was going through, I recently went through the whole business with the surgery on my nose. I mean, I thought I was going to Mount Vernon to the skin clinic to have an excision, and they were gonna, it might take 1 or 2 or maybe 3 times, and they'd put some sutures in and send me home. Yeah. So, as you know, or might remember, they did 2 excisions and got everything, and then they couldn't close it. Can't close it. So they had to cauterize it and pack it and send me into Seattle to Swedish to a plastic surgeon to go into the operating room under general anesthesia and have it closed, and then I had to have a skin graft too. So it was way different than I had anticipated, and as I was lying there in the holding area before being wheeled into the operating room, the plastic surgeon had to work me in. My time was 5 p.m. So when he came and introduced himself, I'd asked him how many procedures he'd already done that day. 10. I went, "You got anything left for me?" He says, "Oh, I'm just getting warmed up." Good answer. And I was lying there, and I had my IV and the whole thing, and the anesthesia person came and talked to me, and all blah, 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 all that, and I'm lying there. I hadn't been in the OR myself as a patient since 1976, when I had my tonsils out. The drugs are better now. Anyway, I'm lying there, and I'm realizing that I am totally, body, mind, and spirit, in a place of surrender. Because I can't fix this. I can't fix this, can I? I mean, I'm here, my nose is packed, they couldn't close it, somebody else has to do it. I'm lying there, and I'm in surrender. And so I'm lying there, and I realized I probably had a little bit of a sedative, because I was feeling okay about the whole thing, which is what's really good about sedatives, isn't it? But what I was realizing is I wish I didn't take a sedative for me to get to this place where I understood that I'm not in control here. And it's not about being out of control. You see what I'm saying? I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about chaos. But if we understand it here, it's a way that we can deal with it when chaos does show up. That I understand that nothing's going to happen outside the realm of the highest good. And that I have the opportunity here. I can fight it, I can resist it, I can be afraid of it, right? Or I can just breathe and say, take me. I'm ready, whatever it is. I'm ready here to have the highest good. I'm going to come out looking like, a supermodel. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's going too far. But to be willing to allow Spirit, divine essence, God, however you name that essence of life, to have its way through you. And to trust that it's going to be the highest and the best. Because I couldn't do this myself. I mean, even if that plastic surgeon was lying here, he wouldn't do it himself. He'd have to have somebody else do it, right? I don't think he would do that. That would be really hard. So the point is that in these days and times that are so interesting and so wacky, and when a lot of people have a lot of health issues going on, it's really important to stay in regular relationship with a surrender to the divine. Practice. Practice. Because sometimes when that chaos shows up or that unexpected event shows up, sometimes it's not the first place we go, is it? Yeah. Sometimes it's not the second, third, fourth, or fifth place we go. And if we start practicing our surrender to the divine, it starts to move up the chain. Maybe instead of the 10th thing, it might be the third or fourth thing that we do. Because as soon as we do, as soon as we let go and allow the divine to have its presence, have its way in this circumstance, in the circumstances on, say, Tuesday. Everybody with me? That the divine has its way in the circumstances, whatever they are. Whether you're dealing with a cold, we've got colds in here, I'm getting over one myself, people dealing with surgical procedures, trying to deal with arthritis, whatever it is, whatever it is. Whether it's relationship stuff, whether it's money stuff, whether it's the unknown right here with the Unity in Bremerton, not sure they heard the word that we will be done here by the 31st of December. But do we know where we're going to be? No. And so here's the opportunity right here as a group. We could freak out about it. Oh my God, we have to be out of here by the end of the year. How are we going to do? And we don't know where we're going. Well, that seems pretty irresponsible to me. When in truth what's happening is we're opening the doors and windows to allow the divine to come in and have its way with us. To express divine order through us. To the highest good, whatever that looks like. And we trust the process. We don't know what that actually is in this moment of now. And the ego hates that. The ego hates it. Because it doesn't like anything it doesn't have files on. And it doesn't have files on the place we're going because we don't know where we're going. But in this moment of now, all things are possible. And if we will be willing to open up to that energy, all things are possible for this community. The absolute best place to go, whether the place that you're looking at is the place, or it's going to lead us to the place, or it's an interim thing before we get to the place, which maybe isn't quite ready for us yet, but it will be by March or June or whatever. And that the Masons thing is a temporary thing, but it's going to work, or maybe it ends up being a permanent, I don't know. But trusting the process, surrendering to it, that it's all good, that that's all we've got, that you have the expectation of good, that we'll look back at this time next year and go, of course, of course, of course. And if you're dealing with a health challenge or a relationship challenge or whatever it is, trusting the process, allowing the light to come in through you to the other person, to the situation, to the checkbook, to the whatever. The holidays are coming again. Do you believe that? How are we at the holidays again? I don't know. I think they cut out a month somewhere. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Did anybody check that? But it's the holidays again, and so it asks so much of us on so many levels for so many reasons. Whether it's the first holidays without Grandpa Don, right? And he loved the holidays.
He loved every day.
Yes, he did. He loved every day. Or it's holidays without loved ones, or holidays without enough money, or Hallmark tells you how you're supposed to do it, and it's just not going to look like that, right? And so all of that stuff. If we can just let go of that, it's supposed to be, and it's got to be, and it's and all of that, and let go and allow it to be what it is, what it can be. Let you be who you are. And watch the beauty of that unfold. And yes, it may be completely different than you ever anticipated, but I promise you, it will be good. It will be good. questions or comments about that? Anybody?
Hey, Joanna,
Yes.
this too shall pass. You've heard that.
And it is. It's and whatever it is, there isn't anything that's going to occur, whether that's today, tomorrow, Tuesday, whatever it is. There isn't anything that's going to occur that we don't have what we need to deal. That we don't have what we need to allow to be lifted up by it, whatever it is. Do you really believe that? Is that in your heart of hearts? If you open up to your heart, is that what it tells you? That you've got it?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And sometimes they're easier than others, right?
I've really got that surrender's another way of saying let go and let God.
Yes.
Let go and let God. Absolutely. Yes, that's it. And we have that, and we hear that, and there's the bumper stickers, and there's the tattoo, and the whatever. But is it something in the moment when it's occurring that we can actually do? Like it's easy to do while we're all here together and listening to Michael's beautiful music and praying together and holding each other's hand and hugging. It's easy. But when it's, Wednesday during the night when you can't sleep and you're sitting up at 2 a.m. because something's bugging you, that's when it's so important to have it. Let go and let God. To be able to access that part of you that understands that it's our allowing of the divine essence to move through my heart and whatever it is that's on my heart that's causing me distress, that's causing me not to sleep. Other than having had a hot cocoa and playing a computer game at 12:30. I mean, that can have something to do with it, but other than that, do you see what I mean? And so if you're dealing with a healing challenge, whether it's healing a relationship, healing your body, healing your checkbook, healing this church where it's going to live, whatever it is, the first step always is surrendering to the divine essence in the midst of it. In the moment, that's the first thing we do. The very first thing we do. And if we forget, then let it be the second thing that we do. It takes as long as it takes. All roads lead home, and it takes as long as it takes. Right? Any comments about that?
Oh, acceptance sometimes. After I fell, everybody's saying, it happened for a reason, and I'm going, no. I just had trouble with that, accepting that. Until I realized, just this morning, that without that I wouldn't have seen the doctors that had told me about other health issues, that my bone density, had gone downhill by 5% over the last year. That wouldn't have led to treatment of that. So I guess it did happen for a reason.
Yes, but Nora, here's the thing. There's time to hear comments like that. When you're in the midst of it, that is not the time to hear, oh, it happened for a reason. Or, what did you do to cause that? You know how we raise people.
Self-inflicted.
What'd you do? There may be truth in all of that, but this right now, it isn't supportive to hear that. Or if you're mourning the loss of a loved one, and someone comes up to you right when it's happening, they say, well, they're in a better place. Maybe so, but I'd rather they were here, because I'm not over that yet. I haven't let go. And so, yes, there's truth in that, but don't say that to somebody who's mourning the loss of someone they love. Down the road, and it may make sense in a conversation that will come up, and they'll be able to go, yeah, I get that now. But don't expect them to get it in the first few weeks and months. No. When I'm working with people that are in trauma or in crisis, I do not say to them, this is happening for a reason. No. Sure, it's all true, but we don't offer that to somebody who's in the midst of it? Heavens, no. We don't have answers in that moment. The best thing we can do as loving friends and companions is to sit in the question with them. Do you get that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Be willing to sit in the question with them. And the way we can do that and actually be comfortable with that is from all that practice we've been doing of allowing the divine to come in and move through our lives. Because we do understand at a deep level that it's okay and that there isn't going to be a question outside of that. Do you get that? Questions or comments about that? Do you get that? There isn't a question outside of the realm of the divine essence. There's no question that exists outside of that. Yes?
I can't believe how perfect everything has gone this morning. This talk is so right on. Because I was feeling down, even though I have created what I've wanted all my life, the healing center. But I was struggling with, creating the overhead, creating the, letting the people know what I want to share. And then this morning, coming through, I was woke up with somebody that I had done a long time ago, some classes with, and it was just on those airwaves, over and over and over and over, hearing this broadcast. And then I turned my phone on after I finally woke up and was feeling down, and it was, what is your challenge now? From her, the same person. And I just wrote a long email about it, exactly what you're talking about, with surrendering, to, because it feels like it's right on the edge, but it feels like things I should do, and yet stuck in the very thing that I want to help other people with. And so, thank you. It is, it just reinforces how, when you open, it comes in. And I wrote a very long email back about living your message. And thank you.
Oh, you were most welcome. And that's part of what this spiritual community is, a very important part, is reminding each other. Because we get mired down in the doing.
Right.
We get mired in the doing, and it's easy to forget the being.
And the personal, because I personally care and have not contacted personally. Even though it just reminded me of how we connect on that level. That was very personal coming through, and I said, I got you on both levels. And it just triggered for me to open up to share what was going on. And I really needed that. So thank you for reinforcing it.
Good for you, and good for you for doing it. Anyone else? Yes, Maureen.
We've talked about this before. I had the eye surgery in August, and you were talking about not being in charge. I think you are in charge, but it's your attitude that you're in charge of. Because if you go in and say,
that's exactly
I'm going to turn it over, I'm happy, they've got the technology, they've got the training, go let it go. It makes all the difference in the world.
Thank you. That's a huge point. I don't know if all of you heard that. When she was talking about what we actually have control over is our attitude about it. That's what we have the control over. And that's so important because that makes all the difference in the world. Whether we've got those doors and windows open to allowing the divine to move through us and move through the circumstances and move through the hands of the surgeon and the scrub nurse and the anesthesiologist and the whatever. Or the loan officer or the boss or the whatever it is. Whatever it is. And opening up to the divine moving through everyone voting on Tuesday. Right? For the highest good, whatever that is. The highest good. And that is our prayer. That's what we can do from this pulpit. And that's really all that's needed. A couple months ago, it was Unity did the World Day of Prayer. Did you guys participate in that or listen to that or whatever? They created a guiding prayer. Did you see that they put out? It was actually quite good, I thought. And I want to share that with you here and complete with that before we just go into a little meditation. Because I think it's really worth repeating. It said, aligning my mind and heart with the mind and heart of God, I center myself in pure being. In a state of spiritual realization, I remember I can never be broken, limited, or unworthy. Courageously, I rise into my true spiritual nature in this moment of healing. I heal the whole of me as I accept that I am brave, I am bright, I am beautiful. As I heal in body, mind, and spirit, I support healing in my family, my community, the earth, and the world. Centered in pure being, I am a healing presence. So let's take a few moments and just breathe together and do what you need to do to feel comfortable and supported in your seat. If it feels comfortable, close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Just be aware of the embrace of God, divine essence, universal truth. Father, Mother, God, however you name it. The name your heart whispers, that's the name. Breathing and allowing the embrace. The embrace that's always available. The task or the choice or the control that we have is deciding to be open to it, to say yes, to allow it. Divine essence, I say yes to you. I say yes to your loving embrace. In this moment of now, fill me to overflowing and wrap around me like one of those lovely, sweet, so soft, I can't imagine how they get them so soft, soft throws. You know, one of those soft throws that's soft on one side and has the warm Sherpa on the other? And maybe yours looks different than that. You make it however it is for you. And have it come over and just come around you, representing that embrace of love. Let yourself be wrapped. Let yourself be held by the arms of the divine. They're the softest and the warmest and the strongest. No matter what's going on. Let yourself be held. Breathe and listen. I see you. I feel you. I've got you. I've got you. And in that embrace, bring whatever it is, whatever concern, whatever fear, whatever doubt, whatever pain, whatever stress. Bring it. Let it be held. see you. I feel you. I've got you. And in me all things are possible. And from this place of warmth and safety, clarity, balance, you may become aware of someone who could really use this wrap right now, who could really use this warmth, this strength, this embrace. And if you feel comfortable, feel free to say their name out loud so we can hold them with you.
Joe, Lois, George.
And that each one is also experiencing the embrace of the divine. That whatever they're dealing with, whatever's going on, they're lifted up in the midst of it by divine love and divine light. By this sacred, holy embrace. And then we extend this love and light out further into our community, to our state, to our country, to our world. That life in all its forms is wrapped in the embrace of divine presence. And all are lifted up. And we can do this because we're all one. And divine beloved, thank you for the reminder in this holy moment of now. We are grateful, and so it is. Amen. Take a deep breath, and when you feel ready, open your eyes and wiggle your toes.
Okay, I wrote this a while back. And the pronouns, as you mentioned there, feel free to change it as you wish. I'm, of course, a miracle student, so his is acceptable, but if it's not to you, then hers or its or God's or whatever you like. I am healed in His love. I am healed through His love. I am healed by God's love. I am complete and I am whole. God is my strength. I need not strain. He carries me beyond all pain. I am healed In His love I am healed. Through His love I am healed. By God's love I am complete, and I am whole. I am complete, and I am whole. I am complete, and I am whole. I am
Thank you. I think I needed that. Now it's time for the offertory and candle lighting. And as you are preparing your tithes and love offerings today, think about how blessed you are. And as you're writing your check or giving your gift, send out your blessings out. And we will have some papers to burn and light your candles.
I am so
I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
I think in my next lifetime, I'm gonna come back as Joanna and with his musical talent. Let's say our blessing together.
I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the constant source of my supply. I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were just getting
I know we're excited to kind of get on to better things, but I think we'll stick with November birthdays. Is there anybody with November birthdays?
Mary Ellen is.
Oh, Mary Ellen.
Oh, she tried to hide.
November 2nd was my mom's birthday, and Marion Carlson was a longtime member of this gang from Park Avenue through the other church.
Back in the good old days, yeah.
My son's birthday is November 11th. There you go.
Yes.
Veterans Day, and he's an Air Force dude, so how appropriate was that?
Well, this will be the first year without my niece that I helped raise, and her birthday was in November. Well, shall we sing happy birthday to Mary Ellen?
I think you should.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mary Ellen. Happy birthday to you. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you. You're wonderful. God is blessing you now.
Is there anybody with some good news to share? Cindy?
I want to make sure everybody's aware that Michael has CDs in the fellowship area available for purchase, so please check those out when you can.
Yes.
I have some good news. My husband has published his first novel, and it's on Amazon.com. By the River.
What's it called?
James Lloyd Dunn, A Tree by the River.
A Tree by the River, James Lloyd Dunn. Nice.
Everybody buy it. Exactly.
Effie?
I have some good November birthday news. Our friends that used to come here, Terry and Charlie Ralph, their oldest daughter Grace, some of you may remember.
She went through YOU.
YOU just became parents of Nina Rose on November 1st.
Oh,
So
nice.
Mom and baby are well and healthy.
Beautiful.
That's what we want.
Anybody else? I have a little, I got to spend 20 minutes talking to my son. He's not one that, mom time is not high on his list of priorities. It's amazing when you need something, what you'll do, like talk to her. Yeah, okay, so now it's time for our peace song. Oh, and don't forget, Marilyn will be back in the corner. By the way, don't pray with anybody that like
And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be our moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects